super value dandy, super value do or die. A long-time nephew of my Uncle Sam, born in the month of July. I've got...
Willie Martin was a kind, generous, and humble man. No matter where you ran into him or how you heard him, he was always sharing love in some way or another. He chose the perfect profession to do that too. As the owner of the local grocery store, he was able to greet people, donate often, and show his compassion in unique ways. He was known for offering a handshake, hug, or kind word wherever he went. He had a beautiful singing voice and shared it often at church by singing jingles on the radio or breaking out in song whenever the urge came over him. If an organization, family, group, or individual needed donations of any kind, he was more than ready to help out. Willie cared about others and never thought that he was better than them. His advice to future generations was to kill them with kindness. Willie Martin was born and raised during the Depression years, so he appreciated every penny he earned. His birthday was July 18, 1925, and his place of birth was Faribault, Minnesota. His parents were Lester and Anna Zimmerman Martin, and he had one brother, Darrell. Willie attended Faribault Elementary and High School. While growing up in Faribault, he would go to the nearby river to swim or fish. He often told his family that he and his brother Darrell would fish for bullheads and sell them for a penny apiece. He also had a paper route to make a little spending money. This inspired a spirit of delivery that followed him throughout his life. He graduated from Faribault High School in 1943 and immediately joined the United States Navy. He was a radio operator on the USS Colorado in the Pacific Theater during World War II. His radio name was Salty Willie, and his entertaining nature began with his radio personality. His ship was stationed in Tokyo Bay at the signing of the surrender agreement. His experience in the war had a big impact on his life. After finishing his Navy duties, he returned to the States and got a job working for Red Owl. He was assigned as a Red Owl manager in training in 1947 and worked at a few stores. His last assignment was in Morris, where he worked for several years before deciding to go into business for himself. In 1951, he opened the Hart Supermarket and later purchased the Red Owl store. He continued to do business even after Red Owl left town in 1955. Willie's brother Darrell joined him in moving to this area and opened a Red Owl store in Benson. While working in Morris, he met Rachel Blakesley when she delivered some of her father's eggs to the store. One night, she was working at the old depot station as a telephone operator when Willie stopped in with a delivery. He asked her to join him later that night at the Legion, and she agreed. They enjoyed going to local dances or to house parties and listening to big band music. He loved all the singers of the 40s area. The couple married on June 6, 1954 at St. Paul's Lutheran Church in Morris. Willie decided to move his store from the Main Street location to the former International Harvester building on the corner of 7th Street and Oregon Avenue. This move took place in 1958 and was the location of Willie's Red Owl for the next 40 years. During that time, 3 additions were added to the building. Not only was Willie building his business, but also his family. 7 children were welcomed by the couple. Edith was born in 1955, Becky in 1957, Paul in 1959, Lori in 1961, Stephanie in 1963, and twins Sheila and Sharon in 1966. Willie was now busy at the store and following the children through all their activities. The children attended Morris area schools where they all graduated. Willie's Red Owl was known as the home of the people lovers. Willie would host wonderful store celebrations with his parking lot brat stand drawing huge crowds. They gave out S&H green stamps with groceries, which could be turned in for products. They also had special feature items that could be purchased at a discount with your groceries. Many people built up china collections or pot and pan sets through the grocery purchases. During this time, the store changed from Red Owl brand to Super Value, with the store name also changing to Willie's Super Value. Many of his employees also became his best friends. Willie spent a lot of time with Tukey Hoyer, the produce manager, Sally Utek, customer service, Audrey Henricks, grocery manager, and Wayne Lesage, meat manager. The employees were like one big happy family and posed for many pictures over the years. Dressing up and celebrating fun days were encouraged at Willie's. Willie observed some milestone years, sharing these celebrations with customers. The store was alive with activity on crazy days and during the holidays. The Willie's float and local parades was always very popular. Later in his management, Willie started recording jingles for the radio station for Easter, Christmas, and other special holidays. His jingles went on even after his death. The Willie's store always sold Christmas trees for the holidays, with some unexpected results. One year, the trees were particularly bad, and Willie was having trouble getting rid of them. He decided to pay people to take them, as that would cost less than bringing them to the landfill. He offered a couple of dollars to anyone who would take one off his hands. On a Sunday afternoon that year, the phone rang at the Martin house, and it was the police. They stated that they caught someone stealing a Christmas tree and wanted to know if Willie wanted them to arrest the person. Willie laughed and said, "By all means, bring him in. I owe him $2. Willie also enjoyed bowling and fishing. He was a longtime member of the VFW and American Legion. He was a past commander of the VFW. He was a member of the Morris Lions Club, where he served as the tail twister. He and his family were longtime members of St. Paul's Lutheran Church, where he served on the church council and sang in the choir. He was an avid supporter of the farm community and especially 4-H'ers. He and Rachel enjoyed spending time with friends, and one year at the annual Cadillac party in Morris, Willie won the Cadillac. After the second store addition, Willie worked side by side with his son Paul. Business kept thriving, and they were forced to renovate yet again, adding a bakery and deli department. But the last renovation made any further expansions impossible due to parking limitations. With Paul running the business, Willie and Rachel were able to travel and do more with family and friends. Willie was still a regular at the store, usually offering to make deliveries since he loved being around people. The couple also took some trips. One of them was to Hawaii, where they visited the Dole Plantation. They also started to welcome sons and granddaughters-in-law and 7 grandchildren. Edie and her husband Victor Hedrick have 3 boys, Noah, Ian, and Josiah, and 1 daughter, Miriam. Becky and her husband Lonnie Arnold have 2 boys, Lincoln and Connor. And Paul and his wife Gina have 3 boys, twins, Luke and Lee, and Max. The grandchildren have many special memories of spending time with Willie and Rachel.
Dear grandson Connor, it's your old grandpa talking. Thanks for the great letter that you sent me, thanking me for my time that I spent in the Navy service of our country during World War II. It was a pleasure to serve, and the times after have been super dynamic, especially knowing that family and friends and everyone are enjoying the great times after the conflict the good Lord has given us. Without the Lord, it would not have been possible, so I give him, our Lord, all the honor. Thanks for being my grandson. God bless you, and always remember that I love you. Grandpa Willie.
It was a common practice for Willie to take the grandchildren to Dairy Queen every Sunday after church. Here, Willie would share the stories about grocery store days. Connor remembered a story about selling Christmas trees at the store or going fishing. These grandchildren have also given them 9 great-grandchildren so far. With the need for more floor space inside the store and more parking space outside, Paul and Willie decided it was time to build a new store. In 1999, that new store was opened across the street from the old store. The new grocery store nearly doubled the size of the old store and expanded all the departments, including the produce section, bakery, deli, meat counter, and also a larger dairy and frozen food department. The new store featured many ready-to-eat foods than they ever had before to cater to people who were on the go. Paul continued to carry on many of the traditions started by Willie, including the brat stand. The Home of the People Lovers theme was replaced with "We Love You Here at Willie's." Another famous saying was, "We carry out to the moon and back," all things Willie would often say. Willie passed away on November 24, 2004. His business is now in third generation with grandson Max working alongside his father Paul. Willie told him to think positive, you will have a super day, and always remember where you come from. The most important thing at Willies is the customers. That is the way Willie ran his business, and that is the way it continues to be. Willie's life dream continues, and so does his philosophy in life. We love you here at Willies is more than just a saying. It is a way of life, not just for Willie Martin, but for his family and many of his friends. His loving and sharing way of life set an example for everyone to follow. So as Willie would say, think positive and have a super astronomical day.
I don't know why we love you like we do down at Super Value. I don't know why you thrill us like you do down at Super Value. We love to see your smiling faces down at Super Value, the place of places. I don't know why we love you like we do down at Super Value. You bet, we love you here at Willies.